started menstruating at 8, so I had breast and hips.
You were just a baby.
Holy craziness.
Yeah. So I looked much different than my peers. So I started dieting very, very early. And I'm sure that's what led to a lot of my health problems too. The fake sugars, the starving, the binging, lived on Diet Coke. And, that was around the time of Lean Cuisines and Healthy Choice came out. And so, and we were, my family was, I'm going to say health conscious, but I put it in quotes. It was, we didn't know
it was
any
different,
better. Right, exactly. So, Diet Coke was a staple. So, I had a lot of neurological issues, and they started around the time I was 29.
And that could have been the Diet Coke too.
Oh, absolutely. And about 8 years ago, I was in a wheelchair for 4 months. My leg just gave out and I couldn't walk. So I was in a wheelchair for 4 months, and they eventually diagnosed me, with what we're not entirely sure it was correct, but something called chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy.
Well, that's what I would have said. That would have been my first guess.
It was my second guess.
Can you spell that?
Yeah, I can. But,
I'm not going to even write that down. So how many years was it between the divorce and the time you were in the wheelchair?
I was about 35. So that was about 9 years ago. So it was about 5 years after my divorce.
So here you are, young in the really the prime of your life, and you're spending it in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Because of health problems.
Absolutely. And I had out of control diabetes, chronic insomnia, for which they put me on Ambien, which those are
God.
Those are fun stories.
I've heard some of those stories are great. Tell us one.
Okay, so one night, Michael hears a loud boom, and he wakes up and realizes I'm not in bed next to him, which is
Michael is her husband.
Michael is my husband, and he found me in my office studio, flat on my back, wearing a tank top, underwear, cowboy boots, a cowboy hat, and a feather boa.
Well, of course.
With a hot glue gun in my hand. I was standing on an office chair on wheels on hardwood floors.
I'm visualizing this.
Super gluing beads and glitter and artwork to my walls in my office. Oh, and Christmas lights. I had also super glued Christmas lights around the top of the room.
Were you aware of what you were doing?
No recognition whatsoever till the next morning. None.
Wow.
So, oh my God, that is so funny. The cowboy boots and hat just add a little extra. Well, I can see how you arrived at that. You got the glue gun out and you thought, well, this is a glue. I better get my cowboy boots and hat on. This is a gun.
I am nothing if not logical. So
I can see how you reached that conclusion.
Logical.
So he helped you back to bed, I assume.
Yeah, I guess that's how it went. And then in the morning showed me my handiwork.
And what did you think when you
laughed.
saw that?
I mean, you can't. It was every night something else. Every night.
Oh my God,
He'd give it to me, and I'd get up and start tap dancing. I am a tap dancing fiend on Ambien. I will tap dance any song, any number, anywhere. And I haven't tap danced since I was a kid, but I am a spectacular tap dancer on Ambien.
Wow.
So how was this helping your insomnia?
It didn't. But they also gave me antipsychotics because the side effect
was
sleeping. Seroquel. So I'd sleep for 18 hours a day and then wake up and just be a bear for 6 hours. And it caused me to gain weight, caused my diabetes to get out of control.
And your self-esteem probably was suffering.
And then I also, they found out I had congestive heart failure.
Holy crap.
At that time. So yeah, my health was not good. Not good. And I was an amazing dieter. If a new diet came across my path, I tried it. Oh, absolutely.
And to no avail, I'm sure.
Well, I could lose 25 to 50 pounds and then
gain it right back.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you were a yo-yoer.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. From the time I was 6. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that's hard on your body too.
It is.
That's so hard. Wow, that is fascinating. Oh, that story is. Oh, that's hilarious. So I'm trying not to dwell on that too much because I could really laugh for a long time over that.
Not
That is so
everybody
funny.
has that reaction.
That
to
would
Ambien.
be-
We should recreate it.
I think
Ambien
so.
theater and do. Oh my gosh, this is brilliant! And have people come up and recreate scenes of what they did while they were on Ambien.
That would be hilarious. That would be a good thing
Does
to do
nothing
on
for me.
third on Thursday.
That's too bad.
I
know.
have friends that were on Ambien for just for a little while because one night I heard this knock at the door. She lived like maybe 6 or 7 blocks from me, but it was like Main Drag, Port Clinton, which isn't big city Main Drag, but it was Main Drag nonetheless. And I hear this knock at the door, and it's like 2 a.m, and I'm thinking, who in the hell would be? Both boys are. Errol was already gone. Mike was in Chicago, so I get up and here she is out there in this little flimsy nightie.
Oh my gosh!
And she was sleeping, and she came in, and I said, "Marcy, what are you doing here?" And
no clue, just no clue,
just smiling. So I put her on the couch and covered her up. And when I woke up in the morning, she wasn't there, so she went home sometime. But
I had a friend staying with me one night. I was doing a show the following day, and so she had traveled all the way up to Marquette to stay with me. And I took my Ambien and then said, "Well, this isn't working." I didn't know I said that. My half a brain was asleep. And she said, I went and grabbed my Ambien bottle and poured more into my hand and said to her, "Do you want some?" And she said, "Should you be taking that many?" And I said, "I've only had 7. I can take 10 before I die."
Oh,
and she thought I was awake and let me take 7 Ambien.
Oh my
Your
God.
stomach pumped.
I just went to sleep and got up the next
What
day.
did you do that night?
Tap danced a lot. She also showed me videos of all the current hip hop rages at the time, and I learned how to Dougie and all kinds of stuff that night.
And you don't remember?
Don't remember it.
Oh my gosh. I used to sleepwalk when I was a kid, but now as an adult, I never have. One night I went and got in the tub.
No. At least you didn't drown. It's terrifying to hear the stories, though, and hilarious, of what you did the night before, but I don't recommend it.
No. That's just terrible,
I want to try
though.
some to see if it does that to me, but when I was on
You'd
it one
have to
time,
be
it did nothing.
supervised. You'd have to be supervised.
You would.
Nothing ever happened when I was on Ambien that I
Yeah,
know
but try
of.
But you were
taking
alone.
7.
Yeah.
But
Try
it.
taking 7. Don't do it. Just don't do it, man.
Just don't take 10.
Yeah.
No 10 because
You'll
because
die.
you'll
at
die.
10. 7's okay. 10's just too much.
So you tap danced as a child. I did too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A lot of that stuff you retained forever, like
Apparently.
shuffle ball change
Oh, yeah.
and yeah,
Yep.
weird. So very interesting stuff. So there you were. So you were on sleeping pills and
I was on
just a
14
mess. You were a
medications.
mess. And then you were taking medications to stop the side effects of medications, to stop the side effects.
Yeah, I was on 14 meds at
Wow.
37.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Yep, absolutely.
Boy, that was a bad path you were walking down there.
It was scary, and we didn't know what to do. We just went to the medical community, and God love them, Western medicine is wonderful for emergencies, and there are many things it treats, and I would never tell anyone to go off their medication.
No.
But I was given a medication to combat the side effects of a medication, and
Before you know it, you're on.
14 at 37, I think is when that was. Yeah. And congestive heart failure and diabetes and chronic insomnia and depression and OCD and you name it. It was in there. It was a good time. And doctor after doctor after doctor told me, you need to lose weight. You need to lose weight. You need to lose weight, which, sure, I bet I do. But you try it when you're on all these medications.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
Let alone not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Your body doesn't want to move.
Not even a little bit.
And you don't care what you eat at that point.
No.
So how did you
What
have like an
changed?
epiphany one night?
I
Or
did.
was it yours?
I did. My epiphany was at the doctor's office. I was there, and Michael was there with me, husband again. And why this? I do know why this one hit me so differently. It was when we were living in International Falls, Minnesota, had moved, and doctor came back and said to me, "I'm done. I'm done telling you to lose weight. I'm done telling you to take care of your health because nothing any doctor says makes a difference. So I'll be here waiting to get the call when you have a stroke or a heart attack."
Whoa, heavy.
Mm-hmm. I'll be here waiting because I'm done telling you what to change. And it wouldn't have hit me that hard except Michael got upset and started crying. And I thought about that. Michael is 12 years older than me. And I thought if I were sitting in a doctor's office and somebody said that to him, I would be so mad at him. I wouldn't be crying. I'd be furious. How dare you risk? We haven't been together that long. And you're going to risk taking it all away because you won't take care of yourself? You clearly don't love me. And that's what I thought. If they had said that to Michael, I'd have been all over him and I'd have been so angry. And then I thought, well, why is it any different? Why would I care more about how Michael treats himself than how I treat myself?
That's a huge epiphany.
I have a family. I have people who love me. And better yet, I should love myself enough to take care of myself. And I went home the next day and changed everything. Everything. I changed the way I ate.
So thank you, that medical doctor,
Absolutely.
for doing that. Probably more should do that.
Yeah.
But so you changed everything from the way you eat. Did you start exercising?
I did. I started walking that, it might have even been that day. I went out and started going for a walk. And I couldn't do much. I think when I started there, I could do like 2 or 3 blocks all the way around.
Bless your heart. But you did it.
I did. And I went even, International Falls is the coldest city in the continental U.S.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It is. Regular temperatures at -40, wind chills of -60, -65. As long as it was above -20, I went out and walked.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
So then you started noticing a difference. What was the first, not physical change, what was the first mental change you noticed? And did you start going off your medications gradually?
I had been off a lot of them at that point because, and again, I don't recommend this. I got tired of it. And so I just quit a lot of them. I wasn't taking anything for sleep at that point. I wasn't taking anything for depression or OCD. I was only taking my diabetic medications and the beta blocker and Lasix, which I took for fluid retention. So I was only taking the things for the congestive heart failure and my diabetes at that point. So, but it was still 6 or 7 medications. First thing I noticed was I started sleeping better.
Just from that little bit of physical activity.
Yeah. Started sleeping better. And weight came off very quickly it really did. And which made me think every other time I just hadn't been ready and I had been giving myself excuses.
Right.
It came off very quickly. I think my first week I lost 9 pounds, and that's a motivator too. So I started taking pictures to see what was going on. And within, we moved in September. So within 6 months, I had lost 95 pounds.
Holy moly.
And
God, you were a different person.
I was walking up to 8 miles a day at that point and had started walk jogging, was doing CrossFit.
Isn't that amazing?
On my own, because there wasn't a CrossFit
you must
gym.
have felt like you just reclaimed your life.
I did. And then when we moved to Midland to help care for my father-in-law. We came back for that. And we moved in a 26-foot U-Haul that was packed front to back, top to bottom. I mean, it was packed. And everybody who claimed they were going to come help us unload when we got here didn't show. So Michael and I, on our own, unloaded everything in that U-Haul. Took us 12 hours, but it was just me and him. And he kept saying, you couldn't even lift a box before. You couldn't, whenever we moved before, I sat back while other people did the work because we were afraid I'd die.
Wow.
So
what did he, it just wasn't you. Oh my God.
Yeah.
How did he feel?
He loved it.
It would be really fun to sit down with the two of you and do an interview.
He'll cry a lot.
Uh-huh.
He will. And he's just,
tears of joy.
Yeah, absolutely. And he now cries and tells me he was always worried I was going to die.
Yeah.
That he never expressed to me before. But then it was 2 months after we moved. So it was November, almost 3 years, November of 2014 that I ended up having that stroke the doctor had promised me anyway. So,
but you made it through it.
I did. And if I had not been down 95 pounds and I at that point showed no signs of diabetes. Now after the stroke, it did come back. But I had a stroke anyway, but because I had no signs of congestive heart failure and no signs of diabetes at that time, and I was with my sister when it happened, so she got me to the hospital pretty quickly. I have very little damage. That's one of them. I can't come up with words all the time, but
a lot of us can't.
Yeah, but that's one of the things that stuck. But it took me a long time because I couldn't walk again. I couldn't use my left